stopping by my channel today. I created a holiday look for you, or maybe just a look where you want to look a little glamorous, or maybe it's when you want to run to the post office and you felt like putting on some eye makeup. So this is the last palette tutorial that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks. It kind of started with the Sephora VIB sale where I was showing you pictures of what I got and you guys were asking for some tutorials. So I think that this is the last one that we talked about and that you guys had requested. So today's look is brought to you by Natasha Denona. This is her 5 shadow palette series. She's got about 8 or 10 other palettes composed just like this one. It is $48 at Sephora. It is available only online. I will link it down below. So of her 5 shadow palettes, this is shadow palette number 2. Very, fancy name right there. This is shadow palette number 2. I'm excited about Natasha Denona for a couple of reasons. One, as I was kind of looking at the back of the palette, I didn't even realize that they're not tested on animals, which that is always a score, and I know something that many of us are looking for nowadays. I just did a look using one of the Viseart palettes. I'll link that around here somewhere, but I was definitely way more excited initially about that particular palette by Viseart, and then I really started playing with this palette and I have wound up liking it way more than I was anticipating. Now, it does get very high reviews. Natasha Denona, all of her shadow palettes are very well regarded. These were kind of sneaky on me though. I was not expecting them to be as good as they were. And as budget allows, I will definitely be investing in at least another one of the 5 shadow palettes. The reason I like this palette, not only again because it was sneaky and kind of caught me by surprise, which I kind of like and enjoy, but I find that the shimmeriness is very, very rich. There's only one matte shade here in the center. I do use that in my crease. I complement it with other crease shadows for this particular look, but the shimmery shades, they're just very rich. I almost feel like they're even, you know how you get like a shimmery shade that almost is like a little bit wet but really isn't because it's still a powder. It's not even a cream. They are still, powder shadows, but the intenseness of the shimmeriness of the shade is just really appealing. It winds up making it very easy to work with. I find that I don't get a lot of fallout. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's a shadow out there that doesn't give you fallout, otherwise it wouldn't be able to come out of the pan and onto your brush. But I kind of was expecting, because they were so rich and luxurious, I was kind of expecting them to give me a lot of fallout, and they didn't, and I definitely like that. And so I find that the shadows are really easy to work with. You do need to potentially complement this palette with a couple of other matte shades, which is what I'm typically used to, but you know what? I like this palette so much that I don't care. So like I said, this is kind of the last shadow palette that we've been discussing. I'm wondering kind of what you might like me to do next. I was toying with the idea of just doing a really glamorous holiday look, non-palette specific, and kind of doing an all over, or maybe kind of the opposite. Since I've been doing some holiday looks lately, and I'm sure there's a lot of holiday looks out there, maybe I would go with a non-glamorous, kind of more everyday look. What would you guys be interested in seeing? Also, if you've got some questions for me, maybe I could put together a Q&A video too, because I know I'm always curious about the people that I watch on YouTube, and then I thought maybe I should put it out there for you guys so that you might have a chance to get to know me a little bit better and not just the things that I choose to tell you. Ha! So anyway, think about that. Leave me a comment before you go. I do hope that you like this look and enjoy it. Enough with the chit-chatting. Let's get on to the tutorial. So I've already primed my eyes with the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly, which I have to tell you, I cannot wait to finish up because I need to put and go back to soft ochre, which I'm not using right now because I have committed to finishing up Painterly. I set my eyelids as well as my under eye concealer with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores translucent setting powder. I would normally be using the RCMA no color translucent loose powder, except I cannot be bothered right now with loose powder. I am just, I don't know, lately perpetually in a rush, and so I like things that are nice and easy, and the Bye Bye Pores pressed powder is nice and easy. So I am going to start with a general wash of color over my eyes. Since Makeup Geek no longer makes Purely Naked, which I was living and dying for and I'm almost out of and have hit significant pan on, I have found a replacement in the Milani Single Shadow. This is in the shade Bella Cappuccino. I am going to take a nice fluffy brush and I am just going to apply that in my crease, kind of above it, kind of below it, but just to kind of begin with a nice neutral kind of base shade to begin the process. I'm going to go in with a smaller but still fluffy crease brush. I'm going to pull out an oldie but goodie. This shade right here is by MAC. It is Soft Brown. The reason I like this one with this particular palette is because this is kind of a peachy brown, and I don't want kind of a warm orangey brown to be in my crease right here. I'm going to be a little bit more focused about where I put soft brown because I just want to intensify the depth of my crease here. I always say how I like to only use the palette when I'm doing a particular eye look, particularly in these tutorials, but you know what? I like this palette just so much that I don't care that I had to use Milani and MAC in my eye first. But now I'm going to go into the palette. So I'm going to take this center shade. It is the only matte shade. And again, I'm going to take kind of a smaller but still kind of fluffy crease brush. And now I'm going to begin to add some of the coolness to my crease now that we've got a nice kind of warm pinky base there. Now I want to kind of add this kind of cool tone. It's almost like a gray lavender purple kind of color. Now for some fun. I'm going to take this very purple, and even though it's shimmery, I'm going to take this very purple, I don't know, does it have a name? Oh, I guess it's called Rosewood. How could that be rosewood? That is such a dark purple. I don't know, is rosewood a dark purple? I have no idea. Anyway, dark purple shade, darkest in the palette, and I'm gonna apply that with kind of a stiff, round-headed brush, and I'm gonna apply that to the outer corner of my eye. I'm gonna take that same blending brush that I just used, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to blend that dark purple in, a little bit into the crease, a little bit across the lid, but just to take away any kind of pointy or sharp edges or lines. I'm going to take my favorite lid brush ever, the MAC 242, and I'm going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus because I really want to intensify the next shade that I'm going to use, because if we're going to be glamorous and flashy, we're gonna go glamorous and flashy. So I thought my favorite shade in the palette was gonna be this one because it's kind of like a peachy, champagne-y silver. Turns out when I use this one here, second to the end, who I guess has a name, which is Light Coral. Okay, no, that's backwards. They've got it listed backwards on the back of this palette, so Natasha, you need to kind of switch that around. Regardless, I'm gonna go in with this kind of, it's like a silver purple gray. I don't know. It's a silver purple gray. I'm gonna put that shadow directly over my lid up to the outer corner dark shadow. And oh my gosh, it is so gorgeous. You know when your gut just starts yelling at you like, oh my God, I like that so much. That's how I feel about that particular shade, which correctly speaking, its name really should be Lavender Gray. Even though it's labeling the coral one. Okay, that really, really annoys me. But this lavender gray, I don't know, when I applied it for the first time, I was like, you have surprised me so much and you have to be kidding me, because just the shimmery flash and the combination of the almost like duochrome colors, I don't know, I'm just super impressed with this shade. And you can use that shade alone without intensifying it by spraying your brush with MAC Fix Plus. But I wanted to get as much wham bam out of it as I could, and that was why I used the MAC Fix Plus. But you don't have to. I'm gonna blend just a little bit, but I say blend all the time, but I really don't want to blend too much because I don't want that glitter shimmer to go anywhere else except on my lid. But I want to make sure the line between all of the colors where they meet up, I just want to make sure that that's nice and soft. I am going to take my e.l.f. $1 concealer brush, which I love to use for liner, same dark purple, and I'm going to apply that on my lower lash line. I'm going to take the liquid liner by Physicians Formula, the Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Eyeliner Plus Serum. I use it strictly for the eyeliner purpose of it. I don't know how effective it is as an eyelash boosting serum. But I'm going to line my upper lash line now and just kind of give a little bit of amplification up there. I'm not really doing a winged liner or anything fancy, but I am drawing the line out just a little bit straight off the edge of my actual eye shape, just to kind of give it a little oomph, a little flash. I'm gonna take another oldie but goodie, actually by MAC. This is Orb, which is kind of a peachy, milky kind of pale shade, very similar to Brulee, which lots of other people use. I'm gonna highlight the upper brow bone because there is no shade in the palette to do this with. Going back to the palette, I am now going to go for that light coral shade, and I'm going to highlight my upper brow bone as well as the inner corner of my eye. I like this as an inner corner highlight because it's not very stark. It definitely has kind of a peachy impact to it, so it highlights my inner corner but doesn't like overly highlight. I'm going to finish my eyes with some mascara, and then I will show you the completed look. So that completes my look using one of my new favorite palettes by Natasha Denona. If you like this look, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below about what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future, or maybe if you've got a question for me, like I said, I could put together a Q&A video too. Please don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and you can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Thanks again so much for watching. I hope you have a really good rest of the day. In the meantime, thanks.